So good evening, everybody. Let's continue our discussion on Hadoop. So this is day 6 of Big Data Fundamental Training. And today we are going to cover basic Hadoop commands. Now, if you're watching this video through my YouTube channel, I'll suggest you to check the description link, which can help you to see where can you get access to this document. Okay. Now, so before this, what we assume is you have already installed Hadoop 3 in your system, that is the single node Ubuntu Hadoop system, right? And I assume that you have already done it as part of this course. Okay, so this is the continuation of it. Now let's start with the concept of SDFS. We will understand what exactly is SDFS and what all can you do in SDFS. So we'll start with OneNote. Now, as you all know that SDFS is basically what? A file system, right? A distributed file system. We call it Hadoop distributed file system. Now, if I say that I'm working on a 5-node cluster, so that means I have 5 computers all together in a network, right? So if I show you the diagram, then it looks like this. Let's say we have a 5-node. Say we have a 5-node computer, right? So this 5-node computer together is creating what? A SDFS, right? So each of this node has their own memory, has their own CPU processors, has their own hard disk, right? And let's assume that each of this computer has a hard disk of 1 terabyte. Okay, let's assume each of this node or computer has 4 cores. And let's assume each of this computer has 16 gigs of RAM. Okay, now since I have hard disk capacity of 1 TB per machine or per node, so we have altogether 5 TB. We have altogether 5 TB of storage, right? And what we have done is, let's assume we have configured this as a Hadoop cluster. Let's assume we have configured this as a Hadoop cluster. So now, what is the capacity of our Hadoop cluster, guys? What is the total capacity of our Hadoop cluster? How much data it can really hold? It can hold altogether 5 TB because we have 5 nodes and each node has a capacity of 1 TB, right? Okay, but right now, till now, what we have done is we have done a single node installation, right? We have done a single node installation, right? What we have learned so far is a single node installation. Here also, we have configured a Hadoop. Here we have a cluster, but this cluster contains only 1 machine. That's absolutely okay. This cluster has 5 machines. That's absolutely fine. Some other cluster will have hundreds of machines, hundred of nodes. Okay, and they will also have SDFS. So there will be no difference in this SDFS, in this SDFS, and in this SDFS. See, the only difference would be here the data would be stored parallelly, in different nodes. But here the data would be, like divided into blocks. In every cases, the data will be still divided into blocks, but the only difference is here the data, all the blocks are stored on the same machine. Okay, here the data would be divided into multiple machines. Okay, so the data would be divided into multiple blocks and those blocks are stored everywhere. Those blocks are stored everywhere, right? But from the programmer point of view, it really does not matter. What I'm trying to tell you is, if you are today working on a small company and if your company is working on a 5-node cluster, and tomorrow all of a sudden you went to a bigger companies where they're working with 500 node cluster, okay, then it is not something like you have to learn something extra. No, the same command, everything would work as it is. Okay, now let's move on. So let's assume that you have a 5-node cluster and you have created a 5-node cluster, which means your SDFS is basically a combination of all these 5 nodes. Okay, now let me go back to Ubuntu. Okay, so this is the same Ubuntu which we have installed, Ubuntu 19, on which we have installed our Hadoop, right? So the first thing what you should do is, once you log into your Ubuntu, first thing you just say JPS. You don't see anything, right? So you should say startall.sh, and this will start all your Hadoop services. and you should see 5 daemons up and running successfully. Okay, if anything is wrong, if there is any problem in one of those daemons, then your Hadoop installation was not successful, right? So you'll have to troubleshoot and figure it out what went wrong. Anyways, all right. Anyways, so we have logged into Ubuntu. We have started all our Hadoop daemons, and let's say JPS. When you say JPS, count the number 1, 2, ignore this, okay? Ignore this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You should see 5 daemons up and running: name node, secondary name node, resource manager, data node, and node manager. And I hope you understand what are they basically for, right? We have already discussed all these things in our Hadoop architecture, right? But we are going to discuss what is the difference between name node and secondary name node in the coming chapters, right? But at a high level, you understand what are they all basically for. Okay, now let me also do something like this: Hadoop fs-ls. Okay, so this is a command to list down all the files and folders in your Hadoop SDFS file system, right? So the name node web UI is what? 9870, localhost 9870. So let me copy this. Okay, I'll go to Ubuntu and say paste. Now, if you remember, in that video, I had told that there is something called utilities, which can help you to browse the file system. And I told you that we will be revisiting this again later, right? So let's click on this browse the file system. Okay, now if you see here, when I say browse the file system, I can see there is a folder called temp, there is a folder called use. Now let's see here. So see, I said Hadoop fs-ls, and then when I hit enter, I got nothing here. Okay, so let me give you what exactly happens in your SDFS. So see, if you open your computer, if you open your Windows, in Windows, the whole hard disk is divided into what? Into drives, right? You see C drive, you see D drive, you see E drive, and so on. The whole hard disk is divided into drives in case of your Windows. Okay, but in Linux, there is a parent, there is a parent folder which is called a slash, or I'll say root folder. Okay, the main starting point of your Linux is slash. Okay, so for example, I'll go back to this place. So let me say cd dot dot. Let me say cd dot dot. Okay, now see here. What I did is I said cd dot dot, I said cd dot dot, and let me say pwd. Okay, so see here, I would have given the backslash, like this is not the correct slash. The backslash is the right one. So if you see, this is the root of your Linux. Okay, this is the root of your Linux. Now where I am inside my slash. In this slash, if you say ls, show me what are the files and folder that exist here, then you will see all these folders. Slash user slash local was the place where we had installed our Hadoop, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is, in case of your Linux or Unix, you have, this is not the correct direction, you have a slash that is your root folder. Okay, inside this root folder you will have other folders and subfolders and so on. Similarly, in case of your SDFS also, there will be a root folder. Okay, so in your SDFS, you have a root folder like this. Okay, inside this you will have everything. Okay, now do you guys remember in our Hadoop installation we created a user? Do you remember in our Hadoop installation we created a user? What was that user name? HD user. We created one user called SD user, right? So we had created one user called HD user. Okay, in Hadoop, right? So what happens is, in your SDFS, we will also have something called user folder. Inside that there would be a folder called SD user. Okay, for example, if I go to Ubuntu, okay, let me open a new terminal, Control Alt and T. Okay, I opened a new terminal here, and let me say pwd. Okay, so see, when I said pwd, it gave me /home/hd user. Okay, so in my Ubuntu, it gave me /home/hd user. Okay, /home/hd user. Done. So this is Ubuntu. Okay, now if you move to Hadoop SDFS, if you move to Hadoop SDFS, then instead of /home, you'll have /user. Okay, inside that you'll have all the folders. Inside that you'll have all the folders. Now I'm sure that wherever you are working, you know, in whatever company you are working, do you guys have a user ID in your company? See, there would be some format, like for example, first name dot last name. For example, my name is Suraj Ghimire, right? So in some company where I go, it gives me like this, SGHIMIRE. Okay, in some company it will give me SURAJ_GHIMIRE, right? So likewise, every company has their own format of giving you that unique name, right? Yeah, you can call it a LDAP ID, you can call it your login ID, you can call it whatever ID you want to call, right? But these are the names which you get in your company. Similarly, whenever you are joining any team and you are into a big data project, somebody would create a user in SDFS. Okay, somebody will create a user in SDFS, and then you will have a folder like this. For example, let's say /user/SGHIMIRE. This is my user name. Okay, in my SDFS, this is my SDFS location. Similarly, when I log into Ubuntu system, when I log into certain boxes, or maybe Edge node or maybe some other Linux machine, so in that Linux machine, I'll have the folder structure like this, SGHIMIRE, right? Okay, now the admin team will take care of creating your own username and all, right? But let's move on and let's understand, you know, like all the concepts of our SDFS, like commands. Okay, now the first thing what we will do is, let us try to create a directory. Let us try to create a directory in our SDFS. Okay, so now what I'll do is, I'll say Hadoop fs-mkdir data1. All right, so now what I'm going to do here is, I'm going to execute a command, right? So let me close this up. Let me close this also. Let me have this as it is. What I'm going to do is, let me open a new terminal. Okay, not really necessary, but I felt, let me start it from here. I open a new terminal, and now I'll say pwd. By default, I am here /home/sd user. Okay, and remember one thing, whenever you say /home, that means you are in your Ubuntu system. Okay, now if I say Hadoop fs-mkdir, okay, that means, see, these two are basically Hadoop command, right? What is the command to create a directory in Ubuntu? Mkdir, right? But I want to create a directory in my Hadoop file system, SDFS system. So the command is Hadoop fs-mkdir. And what is the directory you want to create? Okay, so let's go back. I want to create a folder called data1. I want to create a directory called data1. Enter. Okay, so it has not given me any error, which means possibly it has created a directory for me. Okay, but now you will have a question, where did it create the directory? Where did it create the directory? This data1 folder, where was it created? Okay, now as I told you, see, when you open a new terminal, what is the default location, guys? /home/sd user. Okay, similarly, whenever you are doing any operation on your Hadoop, file system, SDFS, and if you don't give the proper path, then by default it will treat that this folder would be present in the default location of the user. Okay, can you guys tell me what is the default location of SD user in SDFS? What is the default location of HD user in SDFS? /user/SD user. Okay, so remember, it is not /usr. Okay, this is user. Okay, so the default location of HD user, because if you remember, we had created one user called SD user, so its default location is /user/HD user. Okay, and then what I did, I said Hadoop fs hyphen mkdir. So when you do so, what, and you said I want to create a folder called data1, right? Called data1. Okay, now let me tell you, you are saying create a folder called data1 in SDFS. Now the question is where, like exactly on which location. You did not specify complete location. That always means create this folder under this location. Are we clear? Can I get yes from everyone, please? Okay, so this command, whatever we have executed now, will create a folder data1 under /user SD user. Okay, let me go back to our web browser. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll say, see, I'll go inside this /user. I'll go inside this SD user. See, we got a data1, and data1 was created just now. Okay, ignore this time because this time is not completely synced with my Windows time, but if you see, it is created just now. Okay, it is created on 19th of April. Okay, let me just do it once again. I'll do it once again. Okay, with the example. Okay, now this is what you can do. Okay, now let me tell you one thing, that Hadoop FS is a old approach. Hadoop FS is an old approach, and since Yarn was introduced in Hadoop 2 itself, okay, they renamed this command and they said don't use this approach. You, instead of this, you say, instead of Hadoop, you say SDFS and put D in front of your FS. So your new command becomes this: SDFS DFS hyphen mkdir data11. So let me copy this and let me create a folder called data11. So data11, and you will remove this and you say SDFS, and instead of FS you'll say DFS. This is the new approach, but both of them will do the same thing. Okay, so this created one folder called data11 under the same location where data1 is present. So you just go back and just refresh this page. Okay, just refresh this page. Let's refresh this page. Okay, so see, data1 was created earlier and now data11 is created, right? And what is the location of this? The location of this, you can see it from here: /user/SD user data11. Click on this. This is your location. Okay, so this is what we have done. Right now I want to create a data2 folder. Inside that I want to create data3 folder. Inside that I want to create data4 folder. Okay, so let me do something like this. Okay, let me just like remove this P, and this is what I want to do. Okay, I'm trying to say, hey, I want to create data4 folder. See, you are targeting to create data4 folder inside data3, inside data2, but the thing is data2 folder does not exist. Okay, and it will fail. It will say it could not create this because the directory does not exist. Okay, but if you want to say, anyways, I want to create this, so what you can do is you can instruct your Hadoop saying that I am interested to create a folder in this structure. Okay, if data2 is not present, you create that folder. Inside that you create data3 folder. Inside that you create data4 folder. So it will not give you an error. It will try to create data4 folder inside data3. If data3 does not exist, it will try to create data3 folder inside what? Data2. If data2 does not exist, then it will try to create first data2 folder, which means it will first try to see whether the folders are existing or not. If not, then it will create data2 folder. Inside that it will create data3 folder. Inside that finally it will create data4 folder. Okay, now see, we created data2 folder. Okay, inside that we have data3 folder. Okay, and inside that we have data4 folder. So we have data2, data3, data4 folder all together are created at the same time. Okay, because sometimes it is required that you create a nested folder. Okay, and that time you really don't want to spend your time creating the outer folder and then little inner folder and then little more inner folder and ultimately the the final folder. You can just do it using a single command. Just put -p and it will all be done. Okay, next. Now what I'll do is I'll try to create multiple directories like this. Try to create multiple directories like this. So let me go back to this place and let me say paste. So what I'm doing is I'm saying Hadoop fs -mkdir data 4, data 5, data 6. So see, you are trying to create 3 different folders at the same time. Okay, where all this will be created? This will be created in the default location of your SD user. Okay, hit enter. So this creates 3 folders. Let's go back. So this has created 3 folders, and what are those? 4, 5, and 6. So data 4, data 5, and data 6. So all these 3 folders were created. All these 3 folders were created because of this command. In a single command, you have created multiple folders. Here you can also write -mkdir -p and then give the complete long path. So whatever path does not exist, they will be automatically created internally. Okay, so this is how you basically create a folder, right? So when you create a folder, when you create a folder, right? So if you create a folder, say /user /hd user /data1 /data2 /data3. Okay, and let's assume there is a file inside this word.txt. Suppose this is the complete path of your folder. You have created a folder like this. Now can you tell me on which machine this folder will all be created, assuming that this is basically executed on a multi-node cluster? I'll tell you one thing, that these folders do not have any entity. Okay, these folders do not have any entity, and I will tell you that these folders, when we say they are created, okay, physically they do not exist anywhere. It is just a metadata information saying that hey, there is a folder as per the user. Okay, but the real thing will happen when you create the file. When you create a file and folder, all you know is the file name, the folder name, and all, right? But internally, where they reside, where they are created, that is none of our business. Okay, we'll look into it more again, right? So as we move on. Okay, so this is how you can create the directory in your SDFS. But once you create the directory, you should also know whether the directory are there or not, right? So the command would be Hadoop fs-ls. Again, as I said, this is old approach. So instead of Hadoop, you replace this with SDFS, and instead of fs, you say DFS. So both of this command will do the same thing. Okay, now let me do that. So I'm saying Hadoop fs-ls. So what does it mean? It means list. Okay, it means list the files and folders. Okay, so you're saying, hey, I want to know the content of my SDFS. Okay, but then you did not specify the content of what, right? So by default, when you don't specify anything, that always means /user /hd user, because you are currently using all these commands as your SD user command, right? So whenever you are doing any operation, if you don't define any specific path, then by default it will be always treated as you are looking for, you want to get information about /user SD user. Okay, now you could have also done something like this, /user /hd user. It will also give you the same output. It will also give you the same output. See this: data 1, data 11, data 2, data 4, data 5, data 6. Okay, so the only difference what you could see is when you wrote this complete path, then it gave you the complete path of your file system, but otherwise it is basically giving you the same folders. The output is really same. Okay, so we are talking about this command, right? So Hadoop fs-ls can be used to list down the files and folders present in your SDFS directory. Okay, now you can go more specific. You can say, hey, I want to know what is present inside my data 1 or what is present inside my data 2. All you need to do is specify this path here after ls. Okay, so let me go back and I'll say if I say dot, what does it give? Okay, dot is also giving you the same thing, because dot means the current user. Okay, so the current user is what? Slash user SD user. So let me update this also here so that you can use it as your reference. Okay, and I'll say dot, and let me say dot means current user. Done. Okay, let's move on. Now see, you can also do something like this: Hadoop fs-ls. Then you can be little specific, slash, right? So I'll go back here and let me say Hadoop fs. So let me say sdfs dfs, okay, -ls, and then let me say slash. Slash means the root, right? So if you see under my root, I have temp folder, I have user folder, I have word data folder. Now again I'll say slash user. Okay, so if you see under my slash user, I have SD user folder. Okay, now if you guys are working in any big data project, I will suggest you that you log into your company's Edge node and just execute this command: Hadoop fs-ls/user. You will find a long list of all the users who has access to that particular node and clusters. Okay, in our case we have only one user, and that's the reason we are seeing only one output here. All right, let's move on. So this is what you can go specific. You can go more specific. You can say, hey, you have data2 folder, inside that you have data3 folder. I want to know what is there inside this data3 folder. Okay, now see here, if you write this, then it is saying under data2, under data3, I have data4. You check it out from here. Under your data2, under your data3, you have data4. So it will just show you this, right? Now if you do it this way, or if you write complete path, both of them will give you the same thing, right? Both of them will give you the same thing. The only difference is when you are writing a complete path, you get a complete path. When you write a relative path, then you get the relative path. But if you see the final output, that is data4, is the same thing. Okay, now let's move to the next. Next thing is view files and folders recursively. So this is one approach which is deprecated, which means you can still use it, there is no harm. Or you can also do something like this. Okay, so let's do it this way. Say paste. Let me first run this command. Okay, now see here I'm saying Hadoop fs-ls, but what I did is I wrote -r. Let me just remove this -r. Let's see what is the output if I don't write -r. Okay, see, if I don't write -r, then my total output, the total number of output is little less. The total number of output is little less: 1, 1, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Right? But if I say -r, then my total output is little more. And let's see how are they different. Okay, so when you say Hadoop fs-ls/user SD user, then what it is going to give you is, it is going to give you this data. It's going to give you this data. It's saying you have data 1, you have data 1, you have data 2, you have 4, 5, 6. So 1, 1, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. But when you say -r, then you are saying recursively, can you tell me, do I have more files and folders and subfolders, right? So it's saying, see, what it is saying is, I have data 1, okay, go inside this, I have nothing, okay, done, let's go back. I have data 1, 1, I have data 1, 1. All right, so go inside this, I have nothing, fine. I have data 2, I have data 2, okay. So let me go inside this data 2. I went inside data 2. So I found under my data 2, I have data 3 as well. So under my data 2, I have data 3 as well. Okay, let me go more inside data 3. Okay, inside my data 3, I have data 4 as well. Done. So this is also a path. Okay, let me go back. Let me go back. So we have explored till data 2. We have explored till data 2. Let me go to data 4. I have nothing in it. So data 4. Again, I'll go to data 5. I have nothing in it. So data 5, and I'll go to data 6. I have nothing in it, and that is data 6. So what it is doing is it is giving you all possible paths by going inside your folders and subfolders and so on. Okay, so this is what your recursive command is doing, -r is doing. Questions, guys? Okay, so we talked about this view files and folders recursively, right? Which will help you to recursively look into what are the files and folders available in the complete path. Now let's talk about copying a file from local to SDFS, which is very common. So ideally there are two approaches to do this. One is you can use Hadoop fs-put. The other thing is you can use Hadoop fs-copy from local. Okay, both this command can help you to copy the file from local to your SDFS. Now what I'll do is let me go to Ubuntu. Okay, let me check where am I. Present working directory. I'm inside my /home SD user. Okay, so what I'll do is let me go to desktop. Okay, so it is not really necessary that you go to the desktop. That's absolutely fine if you are on your /home SD user as well. That's absolutely fine. The only reason why I went to desktop is because if I create a file in desktop, it will be visible here, and that is the only reason I have gone to the desktop. Okay, so I'll also write that command here. I'll say first thing I'll do cd 1 minute, my settings has been changed. Yeah, keyboard cd, I'll go to desktop. Okay, so I went to desktop. Now what I'll do is I'll write this. So let me tell you what exactly it is doing. Okay, so if you just say echo, and if I say hello world, okay, then what it will do, it will just print hello world. If you just say echo hello world, it will print that. It is similar to system.out.println in Java. It is similar to println in Scala. It is similar to print hello world in Python. Okay, so this will just print this hello world on the console, but then I'm saying, hey, not on the console, but take it to a file. Okay, so let me check the file name. I'm choosing, I'm keeping the file name as word1.txt. Okay, so see, when I did so, then what happened was this part, okay, gave me hello world as the output, okay, which was redirected to a file called word1.txt, and this word1.txt is created in my desktop. Okay, and that's the reason I'm showing you in the desktop, so that you can see that a file got created here, word1.txt. Open this file and you will see the content word hello world. So you get to see hello world inside this word1.txt. Done. Let's move on. Okay, now if you say cat of word1.txt, you will see hello world. Say cat of word1.txt, you get hello world. Okay, now I have a file hello world in my local file system, in my Ubuntu, right? And I want to upload this file in my SDFS. So the command would be what? Hadoop fs-put, because you want to put this file into your SDFS. Okay, Hadoop fs-put file name. What is the file name? Word1.txt. Okay, so this is your local path. If you go back to the syntax, it says local file path, then your SDFS file path. Okay, so what will be my SDFS file path? Anything. Okay, anything. So I'm saying Hadoop fs-put word1.txt, and let me copy it to word1.txt. Okay, let me say enter. Okay, done. It has done something for us, right? But now let us go back to our UI. Let's go back to our UI and see, I have not given the complete path here, right? I just said I want to upload word1.txt into a file called word1.txt. But where will this word1.txt will be created? The default location would be for us slash user sd user, right? So let's go back to this browser and let's go back to slash user sd user. Okay, now if you see, you got a word1.txt, right? You got a word1.txt, and now do you see the block size is 128 MB, right? Which means this file is uploaded in SDFS and its default block size is 128 MB, which really does not mean that we are going to waste all these 128 MBs. Okay, only 12 bytes would be used, rest all would be freed up. Okay, now let me open this, let me click on this word1.txt file. So see, it gives you this information from where you can download, or you can see the first few characters, or you can see the last few characters. Okay, so if you say download, save, okay, it says it is downloaded. Click on open file, you got this hello world here, right? But the real time, in the real time, see, in the real time what will happen is this file may be of 10 gigs possibly. This file may be of 10 gigs, and the block size, it will show you 128 MB, right? When you click on it, it may say, hey, do you want to see first few lines of this file? Hey, do you want to see first few lines of sorry, the last few lines of this file, and so on. Okay, and you will get all other blocks, because this file will be divided into multiple blocks, so you can like go to block 0, block 1, block 2, block 3, and then read something out of it from here. Okay, and you can even download it, but you generally don't do it for the bigger files, right? Because all the bigger files, if you want to download it to your system, there are some other approach. We will see that as we move on with the commands. All right, so this is how you can put a file from your local to SDFS. Now let's go back to our Word document. Okay, so see here, Hadoop fs-put /home sd user word1.txt, and I have added that into my SDFS under this with the file name word2.txt. So what happens is, by default, this file will be uploaded. Let me just say, if I write like this, then like I'm worried if you will assume that it is a part of the syntax. So I'll say the file will be uploaded under /user /hd user /word2.txt. Okay, so the file will be actually uploaded in this location, right? Now similarly, you can say Hadoop fs-put word1.txt, and you can say data1 /word2.txt, but it will fail if data1 folder does not exist. Okay, let's give this a try. Okay, now let me say enter, and let me say paste Hadoop fs-put word1.txt. So this is where, this is in my desktop, right? We have created this file, under our desktop. So if you are creating it under your desktop, so you should change it to desktop. Currently I'm inside my desktop, so this will work well. Okay, and then I'm saying this file should be uploaded under data1 /word2 folder. So the default location would be like this: /user /sd user /data1 /word2.txt. Right, now let's go back and let's see that path. /user sd user, inside that, do I have data1 folder? Yes, I do have data1 folder. Okay, inside this I want to upload this as word2.txt. Hit enter. Done. Now just say refresh. Right, so you can see word2.txt is uploaded here with a replication factor equal to 1. The size is 12 bytes, and the total block size is 128 MB. Okay, so if this folder does not exist, then it will fail. That's not it. So let's go back here, and I think I will have to if I'm uploading it from desktop, then I should either say, yeah, I should say desktop. Otherwise, this command will not work for you. Okay. Now, if you want to keep it little simple and sweet, you can directly say like this. Okay. So the meaning of this would be same. Let me keep it as it is. This or this will point to the same path. Okay. Now let me do something like this. I will say, okay, let me execute this command. Hadoop fs-put, then desktop word1.txt, and I'll say /word2.txt. Okay. Now look into this command very, very carefully. Okay. So the difference here is this path is okay, but if you see this path, this is not a partial path. This is a complete path because you have written / here. Okay. So that means you are asking a file to be created under your root, So where should you go and look for this data? Not here, not here, not even here, not even here, not even here. Okay. You should go to this root here. So here, if you see, word2.txt has come, right? So you have uploaded the file under this location. So see, you have to be very careful. If it starts with /, then it always will be treated as what? Root. Okay. So under your / a file got created, word2.txt in your SDFS, right? Now similarly, if you want to see this file, then you can say hadoop fs-ls say /. Okay. Now you're saying, hey, I want to see where is the file hadoop fs-ls /, then you will tell, okay, under your / I have word2.txt. Okay. So this is what we have done. All right. Now let's move on. Copy multiple files from local to SDFS. I want to copy more than one file from my local to SDFS. How do I do that? Okay. So your put command or your copy from local. See, instead here we have used put command. Instead of put, you could have also used copy from local. That will also work as exactly as what how put is working. Okay, we'll see that demo here. So see, what you can do is, let's go to Windows. Sorry, let's go to Ubuntu. Let's go to /home SD user. And then let me first do what? Let me first create a folder called word data. Okay. And where I'm creating this folder, I'm creating this folder under my root. Be very careful. Okay. So we are creating this folder under root. So let's create this folder. So I'm saying Hadoop fs-mkdir. You can say SDFS dfs-mkdir. So we are creating a folder called word data, and I think it was already created last time. If you remember, I was trying to delete it from here and it was not getting deleted, right? So what I'll do is I'll just let me remove this. Okay, I'll say Hadoop fs-rmr word data. Done. It is deleted. Now let me create this folder again. Okay, so I created this folder. You will see the timestamp getting changed. It was earlier created at 5 o'clock. Let me refresh this. Now it is created just now. Okay, all right. So go inside this word data. You have nothing here. Okay, done. Now next, what I'll do is I'll create two files, word3, word4. I'll create two files here. So first let me say ls. Okay, there is no such file called word and all, right? So what I'm doing is I'm saying echo word3. That means give me print word3 into word3.txt, print word4 in word4.txt. So you can do something like this. I'll say copy, and let me go back to this place and say paste. Okay, so what it has done is it has created a file ls. It has created a file called word3.txt, where if you say cat word3.txt, then you get word3. I've just inserted some, some word inside that. Really does not matter. Similarly, you can create one more file called word4.txt. Word4.txt. The other way around would be, why don't I use vim? I can use that also. I can say vim word4.txt. I'll get an editor. I'll press insert and I'll say word4 escape colon wq. Done. And if you see, I've created two files, word3.txt and word4.txt. And if I say cat word3.txt, I'll see word3. And if I say word4.txt, then I'll see word4. Right. So one file I've created using echo, one file I've created using vim. Choice is yours. It really does not matter at all. Okay, at the end of the day, what we have is we have word3 and word4.txt files which we want to put into a location in a single command. Okay, so the command would be like this. Okay, so what I'm saying is, I'm saying Hadoop fs-put or SDFS DFS-put. I'm saying word3.txt and word4.txt. Both this file, you put it under /word data, hit enter. Okay, now let's go back to our word data. This is our word data. This is our word data, right? Let's refresh this. Okay, so you got two files. So you got two files, word3.txt and word4.txt, successfully uploaded. Now let us do the same thing. Let us do the same thing using copy from local. Okay, now I'm saying DFS, sorry, I'm saying SDFS DFS or Hadoop fs-copy from local, and I'm saying word3.txt space word4.txt and copy it into current user. Okay, copy it into current user. So where do you expect this file to go? This file should go in a path, right? And you have given dot. So what does dot mean here? Dot here means /user/hd user. So go to your /user, go to first slash, go to user, go to hd user and check the file. Check the file word3.txt, word4.txt are created at the same time, right? So this is what we have been doing. So I hope you understand the, like the importance of this dot. What happens if you don't write dot? What happens if you write slash? What happens if you don't write slash? Where exactly they go? Okay, this is important for us to understand right now. Okay, next, now we will look into one very interesting example. Let us see this. All right, let's move on. Now what I'm going to do, see here, now the requirement is, let me create a file first. Okay, so what I'll do, see here, I'll create a directory. I'm creating a directory under my desktop. The directory name is data. So I'll do it on, I'll do it in my desktop so that you can see it clearly here, right? So say paste. Okay, so this gave me a folder called data. Let me go inside this data folder. Okay, nothing is there inside this data folder right now. That's okay. Now what I'll do is I'll say echo apple, banana, mango. That means print this, but where? I'm redirecting it to data folder. See, current user, desktop, data folder. Inside that, create a file called fruit.txt and write apple, banana, mango in that fruit.txt. So this line will create a file called fruit.txt into desktop data folder. Done. We got a fruit.txt here. Okay, so either you use echo or you use vim, choice is yours. Again, let me do the same thing. Let me do the same thing and create one more file, cricket, football, hockey. So I'm saying print cricket, football, hockey into a file called sports.txt. Done. Okay, now I'm saying, let me go to desktop. Done. Now let me say zip this file. Before I execute that, let me go to desktop. Let me go to desktop. I can close this. This is my desktop, right? So see what I'm saying. I'm saying tar hyphen ZCVF, which means create a zip file with the name data.tar.gz, wherein you compress the folder called data. Okay, see, where am I? I am in my desktop. I'm already in this place. In my desktop, under my desktop, what are the files and folders I have? I have a data folder, and that's the reason I'm allowed to directly use just the folder name. Okay, and what this command is going to do? This command is going to create a zip file out of this data. Okay, so either you do it this way or you right click and create the zip file. That is also okay for us. Okay, let's do it through command. Done. When I did that, what happened was it created a file called data.tar.gz. Let me delete this file. Done. So ultimately what I have is I have got a file called data.tar.gz. Okay, now what I'll do is very interesting. Okay, this is done. Now what I'll do, see here. Now let me create two folders inside my SDFS. Okay, I'll just rename it a bit. Let me create the first folder called fruits, and let me create the second folder called sports. Okay, so see, I'm using a command hadoop fs-mkdir to create two folders. Hadoop fs-mkdir fruits and sports, where this will be created in the default location. What is the default location? /user/hd user, right? So let's go to /user hd user, hit enter. Fruits and sports, we got two folder, fruits, and we got another folder, sports. Okay, done. Now let's go back to the document. This is done. Now what I'm going to do here, now I'm saying tar zxvf data tar.gz data/fruits.txt -o pipe hadoop fs -put hyphen here. Okay, here hyphen fruits.txt sports.txt. So let me tell you what does it mean. So see, this command is actually two-line commands. Okay, let's talk about the second line first. Okay, so what does this hadoop fs-put do? Hadoop fs-put can be used to copy the data from your local to your SDFS, right? So which means if you see this path, this path is your local path and this path is your SDFS path, which means I'm saying I want to upload something under fruits inside fruit.txt file, right? This is what we mean. Okay, now what is that you're going to upload? You are saying I will untar my tar.gz, I'll read fruit.txt file. The content of the fruit.txt file should be written inside this. Okay, so let's try to do this. I'll go back here. We are in our desktop and say paste. So I'm saying tar zxvf data.tar.gz data/fruit.txt -o. All that this command will do is it will extract the content of fruits.txt, and whatever it has extracted, I'm doing a pipe and redirecting it to your SDFS. Done. We will do the same thing with the other file as well. I want to write sports.txt inside sports file. So the difference is I have used -put and -copy from local, right? Otherwise, both this is going to do the same thing for you. Okay, done. So what I'm expecting now is, I'm expecting that I have in my fruits, I should get fruits.txt. Okay, now look into the size. It says there is something here. Okay, I'll go back. This is fruits. I'll go back to sports. Click on this. And it says it has something here. Let me click on it. Okay, I really don't want to download everything, but I'll say, can you show me first few lines? Right? So it says you have some data like this here. So what we are able to achieve here is, we had a zip file. That zip file contained different data, fruit.txt, sports.txt, and I wanted to extract them and store them into different files, right? So if you look into your project, big data project, sometimes the requirement could be like this, like you get a file from a client, a zip file from a client, and that zip file contains some data with some format. Let's say all the CSV file, which starts with, which contains some, some character. Okay, and like let's say transaction 001, transaction 002.csv and all. So you will say extract all transaction star.txt and copy it into a folder called transaction, right? Similarly, you may have customer details. So you may say extract all the customer details.txt and upload it into certain location. So this can be used when you have a single zip file which contains varieties of data and you really want to write some script to segregate them and store it on different locations. Okay, now once the file is added, once the file is uploaded in your SDFS, the next thing what you would like to do is, you would like to read those files, right? So if you want to read those files, then the commands are Hadoop fs-cat can be used. Hadoop fs-text can also be used. Okay, so we have just changed this folder name, right? So let me then, like make it proper. So this should be fruits and this should be sports. Okay, so I can say Hadoop fs-cat fruits. Inside fruits you have fruits.txt. So you got the data of the fruits.txt file, and similarly the other one is your sports.txt. Okay, done. Next, now let's talk about how can you really input your data from keyboard to SDFS. Of course, this is really not something very useful. This is really not useful because I don't think anybody in this world will write the data from their hand and like upload that into your SDFS. But there is a concept, and that's the reason I thought let me teach you this as well. Okay, so what I'll do is, I'll say Hadoop fs-put, and then this is the source file, right? Instead of source file, I'll just give a hyphen, and this is the destination. This is the destination, right? So destination is demo.txt. So whenever you say hyphen on your put, on your source, then it will be treated as the standard input. Okay, and what is the standard input, guys? The keyboard, right? Now let's try this out. Okay, so see, nothing is happening. Why? Because it is actually waiting for you to input something. So I'll say, hello, this is the output generated by keyboard typing. Enter. I am fine, happy, SDFS command. Okay, we wrote something, and then finally let's say Control C. Okay, we terminated the process. Now let us say Hadoop fs-ls. Okay, so see what happened is, it created a file called demo.txt _copy. Okay, so in the previous version, we were getting exactly demo.txt, but I saw that in this version we are getting demo.txt dot underscore copy. Let us have a look on the content of it. Okay, let's see what is the content of this. So I'll say Hadoop fs hyphen cat. Okay, and I'll say demo.txt dot dot. Do I need to write everything? Not at all. Okay, so you can simply say like this as well, right? So if you see, the output is hello, this is output generated by the keyboard typing, I'm fine, happy SDFS command. So you can go back to your browser, and here also you'll see the same demo.txt. You say, can I read first few characters, and it will give you the same thing, which means you are able to write something from your through your keyboard, and those data whatever you were constantly typing were all uploaded in your SDFS. Okay, so this is also what you can do. All right, now you may have a question like, what is the difference between put and copy from local? Okay, or see, put is what? Put can be used to copy the data, is not it? Similarly, copy from local can be used to copy the data from local to SDFS. If you see, functionally they do the same job. Okay, but there is little difference, and let me tell you what is the difference. Put copies single source or multiple source from local file system to the destination file system, also reads input from standard input and writes to the destination file system. Copy from local is very similar to put command, except that the source is restricted to local file reference. It can also copy single or multiple source from local file system. So ideally, if you ask me the difference, the major difference between these two command is copy from local can only copy the data from your local file system. Okay, whereas your put can read the data from different source, from your standard input stream or from some other input stream, and write the data into the destination file system, whereas copy from local can only read the data from your local file system. Okay, otherwise, apart from this, there is no difference. In fact, I'll tell you that copy from local extends put with no difference. So you may ask me, which one should I use when I work in a company? I will always say you always use put, because it is very short. Why will I even write Hadoop fs hyphen copy from local? Why will I not write Hadoop fs hyphen put? Right? So like if you see, the difference is very, very minimal. The only difference is copy from local can do, they can copy the data from your local file system only, whereas put can read the data from some other input sources. Okay, but trust me, like you will never ever like be able to recognize that they two are two different commands. And in fact, I'll say, I think you will definitely not use copy from local anytime when you are working. Okay, so fundamentally both of them will do the same thing, and as I said, internally your copy from local extends put with no difference at all. Okay, now let's move on. Now what I'll do is, I think I've deleted this folder, right? CD desktop data. So we are saying, let's go to desktop. Let's go to desktop where we have data.tar.gz. Let me right click on it and say, okay, let me double click on it then. Can I not say extract? Extract. And I'll say extract. Close. Close. Okay. So I have extracted this data now, right? So I have a folder called data. Inside this data, what I have is fruits.txt and sports.txt. Control L. And I'll say Hadoop, sorry, I'll say cd data ls. So I have fruit.txt, I have sports.txt. Let me say cat fruits.txt. I have this. Let me say cat sports.txt. I have this. Right? So now see, you have two files, fruit.txt and sports.txt. Now what I want to do is, I want to merge these two files. I want to append these two files, and I want to store the output of all these files into fruits underscore sports.txt. So let me execute this command. Let me execute this command. I'll go back here and let's say paste. Okay, so what we are literally doing is we are saying I want to append fruit.txt and sports.txt together, and whatever output I get after appending these two files, I want to write this file into fruits_sports.txt. Okay, now where should I look into this? I should look into which path? /user/hd user, right? Because you have not given any other path here. You have not given slash or any other complete path. So by default, it will create this file under your /user sd user. So let's go back to our browser. Okay, let's go back to our browser and say enter. Okay, so if you see, you got fruits and sports.txt. You say, hey, can you show me first few lines, right? And if you see, you got apple, banana, mango, and you got cricket, football, and hockey. So what happened was you got the first data plus the second file data and so on, right? So where can this be useful? This can be useful when you really want to club more than one file and write this data output to a fruit_sports to a single file, right? So you will be using this when you think that you have multiple files. For example, sometime what happens, the client may give you a folder which contains 3 files, and those 3 files are syntactically same. Okay, and let's say the file size is let's say 50 MB, right? Now when the file size is 50 MB, by default it will create 3 blocks, right? But I really don't want to create it in create 3 blocks out of it. I want to say, hey, this 50 MB, another 50 MB, another 50 MB, let me club this together and let me append it and let me write it to a single file. So you can use this approach saying that, hey, I want to append these 3 files, file1.txt, file2.txt, file3.txt, and let me upload all of them as a single file. Okay, so that if you want to process these 3 files, then you can just process this file. You really don't have to worry about 3 files, then 3 blocks and all other stuff. Okay, and this can be used when you want to get rid of something called multiple small files. Never ever deal with multiple huge number of small files. Okay, that is really not a good idea. Okay, so you can use this when you want to really combine your local files into a single SDFS file. Okay, now let's say Hadoop fs-ls, enter. So we got fruits and sports.txt. If you want to see Hadoop fs-cat, and you'll say fruits fruits underscore, and is there any other fruits sp, is there anything as such? No, give star, that's okay. Okay, and it says, hey, the content of the file is apple, banana, mango, and cricket, football, and hockey.